Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the real United States. I'm your host, Paul Campbell, and behind the camera, as always, is our camera operator, my wife, Beverly Campbell. And we're here at the Old Mackinac Point Lighthouse, and we're on the Straits of Mackinac in Mackinac City, the very upper end of the lower peninsula of Michigan. This lighthouse was built in 1892 and was later decommissioned. Now it is a national park. Beautiful day here. It's a Sunday in June of 2014. We're right at the base of the Mackinac Bridge, which connects the upper and lower peninsulas, built in 1957, which we discussed in an earlier episode. And now we wanted to take you around and show you this lighthouse, one of the lighthouse episodes that we're doing in a series on lighthouses. You can check that out in our playlist below. This lighthouse is a brick lighthouse, which is different than the ones that we've shown in the past. It was definitely built to stand the test of time because of the very harsh weather conditions here throughout the winter months. So now we're going to take you in and show you around the Old Mackinac Point Lighthouse.
Hello.
Doing well, how are you? Welcome to the lighthouse. The tower tour, let's see, 11:45. So you've got about 10 or so minutes until your tour starts. Meanwhile, we have a lot of stuff you can look around inside the house. This building was built in 1892. It was built as a duplex because typically at this station we had the lightkeeper and the assistant lightkeeper. So there was one side of the house for each family. They would usually have their families living here as well. When you walk in on this side of the house, we have it set up as it would have looked probably in about 1910. And on the other side, which is the assistant keeper's quarters, we have a lot of exhibits that you can look through. We even have the original Fresnel Lens that was up at the top of the tower. We still have the original one from 1892. It's in a display case in here, so you're definitely going to want to see that.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah. You just came through the fog signal building, which was built in 1906.
Oh,
This
okay.
building over here is a reconstruction that we're working on of our original fog signal, which was built in 1890. It used to sit right about here, and after the lighthouse was built, they realized that it was too close to the lighthouse, and so they moved it into the back corner to be used as a warehouse and built a new one. And then that one was eventually torn down, so we're reconstructing it right now. This building over here is the barn, which was built the same year as the house. And if you go in there at some point, we have a video going on about shipwrecks that you might be interested in as well. So feel free to look around, and I will let you know when we're getting ready to start your tour.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Hi.
Kind of a yellow brick, probably a local brick, versus the red brick, which is often imported from the southern United States. And again, we have all the oak wainscoting. And this is the living quarters. With a dining area with a beautiful oak table and an oak china cabinet. Here's the lighthouse keeper's kitchen. This is really, really nice. Oak floors, old oak icebox, where they would have used to keep food fresh, and the old cast iron cook stove, and a genuine cook stove, not a heating stove that people cooked on. This was designed for cooking. And this one's actually pretty fancy. A lot of filigree cast right into the cast iron in it. This is a beautiful piece. Has some chrome work on it. And I would love to have one of these. This is a beautiful, beautiful piece. Clock. This is gorgeous. There's the pantry, where they would have kept food stores. Nice pantry. I'm always impressed with how much clear oak is used in a lot of these older structures. Here, the stairs, the treads, the risers, all the railings, casements, all made out of solid oak. White oak, I believe. White oak was a lot more readily available at the turn of the 20th century than, or in the late 19th century. There's now a lot of the oak used. You'll see in new oak woodwork is red oak, but this is beautiful white oak. Here into this part of the building, they actually have pocket doors. I'm probably not supposed to play with this, but I'm going to. The door actually slides into a pocket in the wall instead of swinging. Here we have the display that has the original Fresnel lens that was used in the lighthouse when it was in operation in the late 18th and late 19th and early 20th century. And this one, unlike some of the others we've seen, is in absolutely perfect condition. I see a couple of small necks, but for the most part it is in excellent, excellent shape. I don't know how well you can pick up on that. From where I'm standing, you can see the reflection from the incandescent bulb that's inside very nicely. Yippee-ki-yay. I have to be able to physically fit through a 20-inch opening yet again. This should be interesting.
Alright, so we are going to be climbing up 51 steps up this spiral staircase to get into the washroom. Once we're there, there's an 8-foot ladder to get up into the lantern room. If you see this black square on the floor, that's the size of the opening that you'll have to pass through to get into the lantern room. If anybody is carrying something that you don't feel comfortable carrying on a ladder, you can leave it down here. And the most important thing is when we're almost to the top of the steps, you'll see one step that's painted yellow. When you see that, you're going to want to stop and look up because you need to duck to get into the washroom.
Okay.
So if we're ready, we can start up, and if the last person through will pull this rope behind you so we don't have extra people climbing up, that would be great.
Okay. Get something.
You'll definitely make it.
You got it here?
I got it. to walk out.
Oh, geez, yeah.
You know, just for that exercise. So my goodness, now I don't have stairs and I'm only 51. Only 51 and I'm huffing.
Yep. Okay. So this is the washroom. This is where the keeper would have stood during the night while he's on duty, during hours when the light is lit. Since it was originally powered by a kerosene oil lamp, he would have to go up periodically, refill the oil, and trim the wick to keep it going, which is why he wouldn't want to be downstairs. He would rather be up here so he doesn't have to climb all those stairs every single time. Typically at this station there was a keeper and an assistant keeper, that way they could switch out about halfway through the night. Other things they would be doing while they're on duty, they had a keeper's log. They'd have to be watching and keep track of all the ships that were passing through during the night. They would also keep an eye on the other lighthouses that you can see from here and make a note if any of them weren't lit at any point during the night. They would report that back to the lighthouse service, which is sort of how they kept tabs on what was really going on out here. In addition, the lens was on a clockwork mechanism that kept it spinning, which is what created the flashing effect. You'd have to make sure it was spinning all night. So how that worked is there were weights that hung down through the center here. This would have been open and the weights went down through the center of the stairs. You would have to rewind those weights about once every 5 hours. And when we go back down, you should look at the very bottom in the middle of the staircase. The original weight is still sitting down there. So that's pretty interesting to see.
Awesome.
So if we're ready, we can start climbing up into the lantern room, and I will go last.
Okay.
Okay, I got this. Oh, I got it.
Oh, it's at least as big an opening as at Old Mission Point.
Old Mission Point, were you just there?
Yeah.
I actually did an internship there.
Oh.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did
That's a great one.
We did our previous episode. Oh, no problem. Except for my recorder. Oh, you've got a railing.
Yeah, this originally wouldn't have been here, but we've since installed that for safety.
A good idea.
Imagine, yeah.
And also just added grip when you're on that last
yeah,
step.
it definitely helps out, but if you saw our Fresnel Lens in the case downstairs, that would have been sitting right here.
Oh, okay.
There wouldn't have been room for this. As you can imagine, that would have taken up most of the space.
Right.
There's just enough room left for the keeper to come up here during the day. He would spend quite a bit of time up here because he would have to clean the lens every single day, which was about a 3-hour-long process.
Wow.
Yeah, I would imagine with just the ambient dust in the air plus the soot or anything from the kerosene lamp.
Yeah.
Now it must have been a fairly substantial kerosene lamp.
Yeah.
Not just a normal tabletop lamp.
Yeah, it was a bit more industrial than a typical lamp. You would have been able to see it about a mile away with just the lamp.
Right.
With that lens, that increased the distance to about 16 miles out across the water.
Yeah, it's amazing how much
It's
magnification
very
you get out of those Fresnel lenses.
Yeah. So as you can see, there's a great view up here. You have a wonderful view of the Mackinac Bridge. This lighthouse was active until 1957. 1957 was the same year that the bridge was completed, and at that point, the lighthouse was no longer necessary because with the bridge being lit up at night, ships could very easily see that, and they knew exactly where they were without needing the assistance of this particular lighthouse. There are 14 other lighthouses in the Straits of Mackinac, and 7 of those today are still active. There have been about 78 shipwrecks in this area. Almost half of those haven't been discovered. We just know they're lying somewhere down here. The last wreck was in 1965, so we haven't had any for a while, but it is an extremely treacherous area. But with all the reefs and shoals, very shallow areas, and especially during stormy conditions. Most of the wrecks that occurred were actually due to human error and could have been avoided, but the captains oftentimes felt a lot of pressure to get their cargo to where it needed to be on time, and would make the decision to continue regardless of the unsafe weather conditions, ice, etc.
Vertical ladders, nothing to it. But I grew up with vertical ladders, so.
So we'd like to thank you for joining us here on the Real United States. We hope you've enjoyed this short episode on the Old Mackinac Point Lighthouse. We hope you'll pick subscribe and join us for future episodes and come along for the journey. If you have questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. We try to get back to everybody as soon as we possibly can. We love hearing from everyone. If you'd share this with your family and friends, that helps us out a lot. We really appreciate that. And as always, thank you for watching.